Perfect. Sorry to keep you waiting.
No problem.
How are where are you located at?
I'm in south of Ireland in a place called Limerick.
Okay, so how far is that from Dublin?
2 hours, like 2.5 hours.
Okay, okay, cool. So first and foremost, like I appreciate you coming on the show. I know it's late over there. Like, what is it? About 10? You said
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Yeah. So very thankful for to have you on. And also, so how are things going as far as like we just, not that long ago heard that England is going on full lockdown. Is Ireland doing the same thing?
Yeah, we're in level 5 lockdown at the moment, so we can't travel. We can't meet any other household. All the gyms are closed, all the restaurants and the pubs are all closed. Only the essential things are open. And you're only recommended to go out for like groceries and the essential things.
How are they enforcing it? Is there going to be a fine if they catch you, or like how does that work?
Yeah, there's fines.
There's fines. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Do they give like a time where they think it might stop, or when they're gonna, stop the lockdown?
Lockdown is till the 1st of December, but it could be extended. They're kind of going on the numbers of cases.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So,
Terrible. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
how's things over there?
So cases are rising. I mean, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States. Cases are rising. My personal opinion is that people in this area are just, how can I put this in a good way, or in a proper way? They're not as disciplined with the precautions. So we had cases go down for a while, and then now I see more people like not being interested in like wearing masks and social distancing. I was just at the gym today, just before we got on the show. I was training shoulders, and I pulled my mask down to like get some water, and this guy with no mask was just he had all the room in the world to walk around me, but instead he walked right by me, with no mask, and I didn't have one on because I was drinking water. And it's like, you know I get it, probably nothing's going to happen, but I don't want to take that chance. So it's people like that then you get rising cases, and then more lockdowns, and more problems. But for right now, our gyms are open. So I'm sorry,
Like,
go ahead.
we're all like freaking out here because the gyms are closed. Because a lot of people use gyms as like even for their mental health, not just physical health. So it's really
Absolutely.
not being able to get to the gym to exercise.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I mean, you're a competitive, fitness athlete. And we're going to talk about what you have coming up pretty soon. So let me ask you this: for how long was this lockdown with no gym?
When did this start? Oh, like October, I think.
October. So quite a while.
We're in this lockdown with everything closed in March. And then when cases came down, they slowly got us out of the lockdown. But
Hmm.
now we're back in lockdown again because the cases were so high.
So when they got you out of the lockdown, did the gyms open up again?
Yeah, just for a few weeks though. And then we went back into lockdown and the gyms closed again.
Gotcha. So how do you deal with that? Being, the fitness is such a large part of your life. Like, how do you handle just no gym, then gym for a few weeks, then no gym again?
Yeah, like it was extremely hard. But like what I did was like I cycled to work to do my cardio, and then I do weights myself at home, and I also did like Zoom classes and stuff. There was like Zoom classes my gym were doing, so that was handy to kind of
Uh,
stay in
yeah.
shape. I have like a few bits myself of gym equipment, so I just had to make do with what I had.
Hmm.
But obviously, like, the gym is way better, like because it's very hard to motivate yourself as well to train at home, and there's loads of distractions at home as well.
Of course, like there's always something to do at home. I ran into that. Like, at first I was doing really well at home, and then I started to, oh well, this has to get done, and that has to get done, and it's like, and it's just, it becomes just, the gym is a place where like you said, people kind of like, it helps them mentally, and you kind of like you separate the gym from
Yeah,
everything else in your life. And if it's at home, it's just it becomes too much of a, I don't know how to even the right words to describe it.
yes, there's too many distractions at home. Like I find when I go to the gym, I don't bring my phone or anything. I just go there, do my workout, and come home, and I get everything done in like 45 minutes to an hour. Whereas if I was doing it at home, I'd be doing a bit, then I think to do something, come back to it. It's
Yeah.
just distracted.
Yeah. So you said you cycle to work. How many like miles are we, or well, I guess kilometers are we talking?
I'm not sure how long it is, but like usually I do like 40 minutes of cardio. I'd usually use like the stairmaster or the rower, but it works out as 40 minutes. Like I cycle 20 minutes
Mhm.
to work and 20 minutes home, so that's 40 minutes then of cardio.
Gotcha. So like when you trained at the gym, when you're prepping for a show, do you usually lift heavy? Like, are you a heavy lifter?
Do you know, I'd more kind of focus on like muscle connection and contraction, and I would lift heavy as well, but
Mhm.
yeah, like for like what I'm doing at the moment, it's heavy lifting, but I also teach like fitness classes,
Mhm.
but that would be more like higher reps, low weights. But for the competitions I do at the moment, it is heavy lifting to build muscle.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So I'm not as familiar with the WBFF as I am with the IFBB and that section of competitive bodybuilding. What division would you is the name of your division that you compete in?
So WBFF, it's like fitness modeling. So IFBB would be more bodybuilding, but because I was going to go into like I was coached by a bodybuilder, but he just said that the fitness modeling would suit me better because I'm a model as well. And
Hmm.
when he said that like I might lose some, you know, promotion like deals and stuff if I got too kind of muscly looking.
I gotcha.
So like fitness modeling would suit me better. Like it's more like what you'd see on like the cover of a magazine and stuff. Like the WBFF, it's World Beauty Fashion and Fitness Federation.
Hmm. Hmm. That makes sense. Yeah, because once you start as a woman, once you start putting on a little more muscle, and it doesn't even have to be that much, you kind of start going away from the section that the majority of people will find appealing. So you're kind of jumping outside of that now into a different area, and that's you definitely can. I see how you could like lose some of the modeling deals and so forth if you put a little too much muscle on, even though you might want to. It might, or it might look good to you as far as like your go ahead.
Yeah, like sometimes I find like you get addicted to the training, but then you have to be like looking at like your body, like what kind of overall look you want.
Yeah, it's hard because it's essentially like when you go to the gym and you train, you are in like internally you're trying to push yourself more and more every time you go, right? So you build more and more. It's just something that happens to everybody that is into working out. So it's hard to say, okay, well, like I can only build this much, I can't do more than this, otherwise it's going to be damaging to my career or whatever. And it's hard to do mentally, like you said. Let's talk about like what's going on with your competition. I know that's a big thing that's coming up right now, and you said it's not held in person, right? Because of the COVID situation that we're all facing. So how is that done now? How's that going to be done?
Yeah, so basically the WBFF World Finals were meant to be held in the Bahamas in August,
Hmm.
and that show was cancelled over the pandemic. So they moved it to their next show, which was going to be held in London. So they said they'd hold the Worlds in London. So I was meant to be competing 7th of November, but then it got cancelled and they did a virtual show. So for the virtual show now, it's going to be run online. So we had to submit like a this is kind of like the first time for a lot of competitions. Like they've never done an online show, but they kind of think that like they can't really run a show and then like it'll be cancelled, or else when they run it, some competitors from all across the world, especially if it's the world finals, can't make it, then it's not really fair. So the only way it'd be fair that everyone can make it is if they did it online. So what you got to do is submit like a front and back picture taken on your phone, and also posting video of the rounds you're entering in, and send them in on your phone. So like I had planned to compete 7th of November, but because this was changed to 29th of October, I had to get ready like more than 2 weeks early. Try to do it on a day like I'm off work and have it submitted by the 29th, so they'd have it then to air it, because they're going to air all our videos on PPV on November 7th. But what they want us to do to show that we really want it and that we're promoting their brand, because like usually they would get people attending the event, so people would pay in. But instead of doing that, they're doing an online vote. So online, like there's a link and you go into it and you pay $1 to vote, and the dollar goes then towards the winner's prizes. Like the winner would get, like they'd be placing everyone like in their categories, the judges, and then the winner of the overall vote will get the People's kind of Choice Award, and then they will get like to be the cover. They'll get a cover shoot and a magazine shoot with the WBFF's magazine as well.
That's a pretty big deal. So you've competed with them in the past with WBFF, right? Correct? Or no, is this your first time?
Yeah, so I only started, so I won, like I competed in like modeling pageants before, but last year was the first year I competed in fitness modeling. So I did my first show last June. It was the Irish show, and I won. I came first in all my categories, and I won the overall. So then I went over to the UK show then, and I placed first in the qualifiers for the Worlds, and I got my pro card. So then I competed as a pro in the Worlds. But now I'm on to and I won like Athlete of the Year as well with the UK show. But now I'm on to the American show. So isn't a bigger federation than this in fitness modeling. Like this is the biggest. So now I'm on to like WBFF. It's an American show. So this was always kind of like the end goal. So I'm hoping like with this show that I will get my pro card, and then I'll compete as a pro in 2021. But actually, like in the online voting section of this qualifier, I'm actually in with the pros. Like it's amateurs and pros, and they want to see. But I'm actually like coming first at the moment. But like some days, like someone might overtake me, and then I have to promote it more, and then I'll have to try get up higher again. So it's been like really hard, because like usually I just would keep a low profile before my shows. I kind of try to stay off social media, especially for like peak week. And I'd like to focus on getting stage ready, and then I'd go out there, do my thing, and leave it up to the judges, and then I post all about it after. But like now I had to like get ready early, then submit the videos, and now I've been like all the time on my social media trying to get people to vote. And like, you know, I've got like media coverage as well, like the media got onto it, and I've been in newspapers here. But it's just been like really like hard. Like I think the whole like being in a pandemic, I find it hard to train. Then like the whole voting thing like is actually really hard. Like you're wasting a lot of time trying to get people to vote, and it is hard to be like begging people to vote, and especially when they have to pay for the votes, it's even harder.
Sure. It's almost like you have to be part competitor and part, promoter. And before all you had to do is worry about competing, which is what you are. But now it's like in order to get to compete or to win or to do well, let's say, you have to almost promote yourself as well. It's tough, and especially like when so you kind of split your focus, and let's say that let's say that you're not a good promoter, not you particularly, but just anybody. You might look great, but if you're not a good promoter, that might damage your votes. So it's
It's been
weird.
really
Go ahead.
And then with the time difference as well, like they said it's closing the 7th of November. So like I had to look up like what time is that here, and it's like 2 a.m. in the morning. So like I'm gonna have to stay up now to like 2 a.m. in the morning to keep an eye on my votes. And a lot of people in Ireland will be like asleep then, to vote. So it's very, very like I don't know what time is that in America.
2 a.m.
2 a.m. Yeah.
What are we like? You're what, 4 hour? How many hours are you ahead?
I think
6 hours, right? So
yeah. So two.
that, I mean, what that would be
Eight,
like 8,
so
yeah,
like yeah, it'd be like 8 p.m. in America is
yeah.
2 a.m. So like people in America will all be online, and I'll have probably like no one in Ireland, like online at 2 a.m. So it's just gonna be hard, but like we are doing really well. Like for a small country, like we're coming first place out of 36 women worldwide, and that's pros and amateurs.
That's impressive. Have you noticed, has fitness like had a big boom in Ireland,
Yes,
just over the last few years? So I will tell you, I've been to Dublin myself, several years ago. It's been quite a long time, and then I went to Northern Ireland for a little bit, and then and I haven't been back to visit, which I would love to go back, but it just timing and money and everything didn't work out. So I loved it there. But you said that there's been like a big boom of fitness, in Ireland
yeah,
lately.
everyone seems like from before, everyone's trying to get into like their health and fitness. Everyone wants to stay
Mhm.
healthy. Even like meals and stuff in restaurants have gotten more like they have like healthy options and
Mhm.
everything.
What do
People are
you
getting
Go
on their
ahead?
health.
What do you attribute that to? Like, why do you think that is?
I think social media has a big part to play in it. You know, when people see all people, so before people didn't see what other people looked like in other countries or anything like that. Like now, if you go on social media, if everyone looks so great, you want to look great, you know?
Absolutely. I actually agree with you. I was thinking that when I asked that question, but I wanted to know what you thought. Yeah, I definitely think social media plays a huge part in this because, I mean, you'll see people train. You'll see what people eat. You see how people look. Sometimes so because I live in the United States, whenever I see someone that's fit, my mind automatically goes to, oh, well, this is somebody from the United States. I don't even think about it. But a lot of times when I click like on the profile, the person will be from somewhere else, from Spain, from, Ireland, from wherever else, and it's interesting to see that it's kind of like a worldwide community now.
Yeah, definitely. But I think as well, social media has a negative effect as well on people's like mental health. Like I think that just say like when I was growing up, there wasn't like social media. Like I didn't have any pressure or anything to
Mm.
look good or like to get likes or followers or anything. But I think young people now these days they're growing up now with a lot of pressure, and I think like there's really high rates as well of like anxiety and depression as well over social media.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? It depends how you view
Mm.
it. And, it can motivate you, but it can also, make you very depressed. There's a good, movie well, documentary on Netflix that my wife had me watch. It's called The Social Dilemma. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I watched it. It's very good.
Yeah, yeah. So you've seen it. So yeah, it's very good. It kind of goes into like how, how the algorithms used to basically play on people's minds, and it's effective. It might not work on everybody, but it works on enough people where it's in general it's effective, and from that point of view, it's kind of sad. So how just let me ask you this, let's like go back a little bit. How did you get into like fitness and training? I know you're a model, so like did you start modeling like fairly early in your life?
Yeah, so I started modeling first, doing different pageants here in Ireland. And then there was like a show, it's called Miss Bikini Ireland. So all my other shows, you'd be in like dresses and stuff,
Hmm.
kind of like, catwalk modeling for fashion shows and stuff.
Right.
This one then was in a bikini. So I just said I'd put myself out of my comfort zone and enter that. So I entered that and I won that. And I represented Ireland in Cancun in Mexico in the World Finals. It was called Swimsuit USA, the pageant. And then I used to just judge it every year. But one of the judges on the judging panel when I won Miss Bikini Ireland, he was a bodybuilder. And when I won Miss Bikini Ireland, he used to coach me to keep me in shape for all my events. But he used to say every year I should bring it more into modeling, more into fitness, sorry, because people would appreciate me more. Like if it's if I'm promoting health and fitness rather than just like a pretty girl
Hmm. Hmm.
modeling. So I kind of said I'd do my first show last year, and I've been doing like really, really well in the shows. Like here, usually for your first show, you'd never like come first or win the overall, or like you wouldn't get your pro card in your first year. You'd usually be waiting like 2-3 years, but I've already like got, won the overall and like got my pro card, and now I'm only competing a year and I'm already onto the top show.
Yeah, that I was gonna tell you that when you told me that earlier, that was very fast. It's a fast rise. I mean, it was just like, boom, 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 and you're already, a pro. That's really interesting. So you start training at what point? I guess like once you start like, so when you were modeling, did you lift any weights or no? It was just
Yeah.
glamour.
So when I was modeling, I was lifting weights, and I used to teach total body workout classes. So it'd be like low weights, high reps. But
Mhm.
then with the fitness modeling, it's like high weights, low reps. You get me? Do you know, you kind of do like sets, but
Mhm.
like you're trying to push your body to lift heavier. You're trying to put on muscle. Like you're trying to shock your body in shape.
How long does it take you to get into like like for example for this show that we're gonna have people vote for you, what how long did it take you to get to the proper shape for this show?
So like I've been kind of training like the last year, but for a prep, I'd usually do 12 to 16 week prep. So before it, I set out 16 weeks prior to the show that I'm going to like be eating meal plans, like getting my sleep in, getting my training twice a day in.
So you train twice a day? Is it weights twice a day, or once cardio, once weights?
Yeah, so usually like in the off season, I try not to do too much cardio, like very little cardio. But when I'm on prep, I do like cardio in the morning, and then I do my weights in the evenings.
Mhm. Do you find that you're, because I mean you seem like a fairly lean person naturally. Do you find that you lose weight fairly quickly if you do cardio? Is that why you kind of hold off on cardio?
Yeah.
Okay. So and how does your eating like during prep?
So with my eating, I always prep my meals in advance, and then I'd like freeze some of them, and like I'd try eat every 3 hours. Like my meals are like, I have like a really strict diet when I'm on prep. Like so, like other prepper like competitors would be talking about like their cheat meal and everything. Like I've done like how many preps? I've done 4 preps now, and I never had a cheat meal for any prep. I never had a cheat meal. Always like stuck to the whole diet. The only time I get something nice is like the day before the show. I might
Mhm.
have like something like steak and fries, like something like the
Oh
night before
wow.
the show.
That's so interesting that you've never had a cheat meal. That's like
Yeah,
that's unusual. Like most competitors do like have cheat meals pretty regularly. Is what like what's the reasoning behind that, or is that just something that your coach put in and it works?
yeah. Like I just like I had like all the preps I've done. Like I could have had a cheat meal, but I just decided I don't want cheat meal. Like some people have like a cheat meal every week, but like I'm so focused that I'm like, no, I'll just have my cheat meal after the show. Do you know, I'll just
Mm.
try and get in the best shape I can, and then I'll eat what I want after. Do you know, I don't want to be like I stick to like the same kind of foods and everything for my prep, so my body's used to it, and try to eat at the same times as well.
Mm. Strong mind creates a strong body. Yeah, that makes absolute sense. So, do you find it difficult? Like, I know you said you're very focused. Do you find it difficult to not have a cheat meal? Do you have like, oh man, I really want a cheat meal right now? Or are you pretty, you're pretty, I won't say, I guess disciplined. You are disciplined, but like mentally, you don't have that kind of urge to have a cheat meal.
Yeah, no, I do. Like sometimes, like I work as a nurse, and like sometimes, like after if it's a really long day, like 13-hour shift, and if it was a bad day, I'd come home and feel like I really want like something nice. But you
Mm.
just have to try and like not do it. Try and stay focused, or even like I get like loads of gifts always from patients, and it's always something bad, always like
Like cookies or something like that.
chocolates, cakes, the whole that, and you're like, oh my God, I can't even eat it.
Yeah, that's
One
funny.
eats at the desk, like always.
That's funny. So you're a nurse. So that opens up another interesting. So not only are you a fitness competitor,
Yeah,
model, but you're also giving of yourself as a medical professional, a nurse. My wife is actually a nurse, so I'm interested to know, how is nursing in Ireland? Are you doing like 12-hour shifts? Like what kind of nursing do you do?
yes. So I did general nursing first, so I did everything, and then I specialized in women and babies. So I work as a midwife, and I work like 13-hour shifts
Oh
at the
wow. Wow. Okay. So, what do you? What is it? Is it like 3 days on, like two? Like, how
yeah.
does that
So I
work?
3 days on for a few weeks, 13-hour shifts, and then I do like 4 nights on. You get a few days off, and then you go back into 3 nights. So as well for prep, like shift work, it's very hard to do prep as well when you're on shift work.
Oh, I'm sure that's got to be tough, because I mean you're probably always on the go and very busy. How is it? So like going back to the situation that we're now in a pandemic, how is it for you working? Working. Are you on the front lines? Like, do you see a lot of COVID patients? How do you deal with that as a midwife, as a nurse?
Like we have all like the precautions in place where I work.
Hmm.
But like it is quite worrying, like if you have to like self-isolate or anything like that, like if you're in contact with anyone with it, you have to like self-isolate for 14 days.
Yeah.
And like if you're out sick, then like you have to take on a bigger like patient load sometimes, and it's very hard. Like, and I find even there's double the amount of people in than there usually is.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay. And these are all, so you're only dealing with like births, right? Whenever
Yeah,
a woman is giving birth,
yeah,
correct? Okay.
yeah.
And you have that many that it's that busy.
Very busy.
Interesting. So is this like a hospital setting, or is
Yeah,
like a clinic?
but like they say that a lot of people got pregnant during the lockdown.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't think about that. They did say, they were saying that earlier. That makes complete sense, because we are kind of like coming up on what is it, like 8 months or so, or maybe a little more. So I don't, depends, I guess, which country you're in. But yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, like they've said the lockdown has sped up a lot of things. Like if people got into a relationship during the lockdown, people like started moving in quicker together. People got engaged quicker, like
Hmm.
started having babies quicker. It sped up like a lot of things, the lockdown.
Yeah, yeah. Interesting how it affects, like, the pandemic affected certain things one way, and like other things another way. Like, for example, like the economy and jobs, like certain jobs were almost eliminated, and other like work jobs were just was booming. So it just depends on like where you were and how it affected you. That's so interesting. Yeah, that's another aspect of it, another reason for people to vote for you. It's not just the way you look, but also that you give so much to others as well. So now that this competition, is coming up, it's going to be over soon. Hopefully, you'll come in first, as you always have. At that point, like, what are your goals, like, in the future? Are you going to continue competing with the WBFF, or is there something else that you're thinking of?
Yeah, so like I want to like continue my education as a nurse, and then with um the WBFF, like I'm only classed with so I got my pro card with the UK show,
Mhm.
so I get my pro card now with the WBFF. So if I get the pro card with the WBFF, then I'm their pro. So then I'm like a professional fitness model, and then I compete with the pros in Vegas 2021. So that's kind of the goal, from this like contest, to get my pro card, compete with the pros 2021.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. So, let's say you get your pro card, which is, very doable. You seem like you've won everything that you went into. Um, I wonder how they're gonna do it. If they're gonna have a virtual show, if they're gonna have if you're actually gonna go to Vegas. It's all, kind of, strange now. Everything
Yeah,
is.
because like even like when the show was going to go ahead, like my coach is actually in LA. And like I was saying, like, oh no, I'm not going to enter the show because there's too much uncertainty. But she was like, Joe, just do it and whatever. Like when I was on prep for the show and the show was cancelled, then like I actually like was like, oh, the show's cancelled. Like I actually was in work and I ate cake and everything, and I was like, oh, it's over. I'll just enjoy myself now. And then like the next day she was like, oh my God, look, it's after being announced the show's virtual. I was like, oh my God, better get my shit back in the game.
Oh, that's terrible. You're like eating all this cake, and they're like, it's over. I could just go ahead and just pound in the calories. That's hilarious. Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting how that works. Yeah, because the IFBB like was at first everything was canceled. Now they're starting to like the NPC and IFBB, or the NPC is the amateur part of the IFBB, and they started kind of slowly having shows. They're going to have the Olympia in December. It's going to obviously not going to be a crowd there. So, but see, we have cases rising. So it's kind of how long are you gonna, before you cancel? Like how far do the cases have to rise before you take that step? Everything is just so uncertain right now. But that you just have to roll with the punches, I guess. So, but again, Judy, I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to go ahead and link the newspaper article that you sent of you, which was really interesting. And then also the website where people can vote. Guys, go ahead and vote for Judy, help her win this competition in these uncertain times. And again, Judy, thank you so much for coming on. I'm sorry to keep you up this late. I know you've got, a lot of
No problem.
work.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link so you can link it in, just the swipe up link to vote. So it's $1 a vote. You can vote more than once if you want, and like the dollar goes towards the winner's fees. That's the only reason people have to pay $1. But like every vote counts, and your vote's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And you take care. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.